myself in the mood.
All right. Let's get it. Our man. So,
get it.
All right. So,
first of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You almost forgot to have the salam. Astaghfirullah.
Real, that's how we start everything.
Salam,
peace be upon you, my brothers and sisters.
I didn't even get to finish. Let me finish my Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. You know what I'm saying?
Complete salam.
The complete salam. You know what I'm saying? You get the full reward for it. You know what I'm saying? Everyone just want to get the full reward. You know what I mean?
I like the thinking.
Alhamdulillah. So,
all right. So for those who know us,
this is Yaqubu.
Yaqubu Muhammad. For those of you who don't,
Yaqubu.
Alaikum. The name is Muhammad.
Yaqubu. You know what I'm saying? Yaqub ibn Zubayr. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you want to add the whole Irish. Can you actually go to the full?
Yaqub ibn Zubayr. Ibn Zubayr.
For real?
Oh God.
I'm dead.
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
Man, all right. So, for a lot of, this is, welcome to our first podcast. This is our first podcast, this is something that's been in the works. It's a long time coming. We actually started talking about doing this last year. But the thing is, things came in the way. We didn't have a lot of time,
You had to go out the city. I had to leave the country,
right.
know. So
it made things a little bit difficult in terms of, trying to start it up. But, once everything started to settle down, once we came back from, what we had to do in the summer or whatnot, we started, we kind of like planned it out. And as you can see, we're ready to go, man. We're ready to go.
I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of heat.
A lot of stuff, bro. A lot of stuff. Our channel, as you know, it's called the Rizq Talks.
Rizq Talks.
Right.
A lot of people say
money talks,
what do we say?
Rizq Talks.
There you go.
Alhamdulillah. But the reason why it's called this, when it comes to this, one thing that we want to, a lot of people, especially Muslims, right, when we ask for this, when we make dua and ask for this, there's a misconception of that rizq equals money, right? But in reality, rizq comes from the word ar-razaq, right? Which means, which is one of Allah's 99 names. That's the one who provides, right?
I mean, there's different kinds of provisions, right? There's health.
Yep.
There's wealth. Mm-hmm. There's, iman.
Iman, that's a rizq.
Blessed with iman.
Right? There's knowledge.
There's knowledge as well. So
family.
I feel like nowadays people just really, kind of box rizq to money.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm like that too. When I'm making dua for rizq, that the first thing that comes to my mind is money. I'm not even thinking about health. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just thinking about rizq.
Definitely. Well,
right?
Yes.
So
I mean, it's just a situation we live in, right?
Yeah,
nowadays,
yeah.
so,
You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah.
But alhamdulillah, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about the reason why we kind of wanted to start this channel. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to this, right? We have a lot to talk about. This is something that we actually talk about on a regular basis, right? We talk about this all the time behind closed doors. Yeah. Me and Mohammed, some of our friends in our close friend circles. This is something that we talk about on the regular.
So we're like, why as well just put it out there for my other people to join in the discussion.
Exactly.
To have their piece to say. There's always a comment section. You can always message us, inshallah, in the future.
Inshallah. We want to get to the point where we have a big enough, big enough,
man.
But
it's really the main point was really to broaden the conversation. Yeah. Right. Yeah. To get it more than us and have more people involved, because I'm pretty sure there's different interesting perspectives out there.
Definitely.
So that's why we want.
As long as at the end of the day, as long as we being respectful, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? And another reason as to why I wanted to talk about this is because, as we mentioned earlier, right, this is not just money, right? There's health, mental health. That's a big thing.
Mental
I'm saying?
Nowadays.
There's a lot of things, and there's a lot of taboo topics when it comes to the Muslim community that people don't like to touch upon, right? And what we want to do is we want to talk about it. We want to open up the discussion.
Going in raw.
Yeah, we definitely going in raw, no filters. We're going in. There's not going to be no type of filters whatsoever. We're going to let you know how we feel on a certain topic. Obviously, at the end of the day, we want to try to be as respectful as possible, but we want to be real regardless, right? So that's what we're going to do.
And again, as you guys might have, guessed from the name of the channel, Rizq Talk, obviously this is going to be geared more towards entrepreneurship. Yep. And another disclaimer that we also want to put out there is we're not coming from a place of authority. Yeah. It's more of we want you guys to jump in, to tell us about the stuff that you've tried. Really, it's just, to get away more than the conventional 9 to 5. I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with the 9 to 5. A lot of people we had our 9 to 5. So it's really to gear to the conversation more towards entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's really the gist of this podcast.
That's basically it, right? So what we're gonna do is, to start this off is we're gonna start off a little bit of a dua, seeing as we're Muslims and whatnot, right? The more dua, the better, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little bit of.
I like that.
We're gonna have a dua for halal rizq. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say it in Arabic, and then Inshallah, I'm you know, do
Translation?
the translation in English. So,
Alright, go ahead.
Allahumma inni as'aluka ilma nafi'a wa rizqa tayyiba wa amala mutaqabbala. So the English translation to that is, O Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge, goodly provision, and acceptable deeds. And for those of you who are like hafiz and whatnot, like it's not the best. I know it's not the best. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah, but yo, let's get right into it. You feel me? So, just to start off, right? You know, part of the reason as to why, you know, we wanted to start this whole, you know, channel. This whole like what was it like? I'm gonna start off by asking you a question, right? Yeah. So what was it that led you into this like what was it that got you into like, okay, yo, I want to be an entrepreneur? Like what got you into that mindset?
Really, to tell you the truth, first of all, there's many ways you can come you can come to this conclusion, or like you can see this from different lens, I would say. You can see it from the lens of the deen. Yep. You can see it from the lens of nowadays, right? You see a bunch of 20-year-olds making, you know, more than 6 figures, and you're like, wait a minute. I'm like, yo, past 25, and like, you know, I'm still working a 9 to 5. So there's different ways, there's different, you know, there's many stuff out there that really make you think. Especially, I would say the first thing that really got to me was more about the deen, or just, you know, having to ask your boss to go pray like Jummah.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a big one.
And again, I know there's a lot of people out there that, you know, alhamdulillah, they may have bosses that are lenient, you know, that might let them do their 1 hour break to go pray Jummah. But a lot of other people don't have that luxury, you know. So really seeing your deen, you know, a bit fluctuating. I've heard people, you know, say that, you know, they've worked through a whole day, and then at the end of the day they catch up the whole 5 prayers, and then you're like, okay, you know.
Yeah,
again, I ain't no imam. Yeah, I ain't no imam, but all I'm saying is that definitely, you know, praying your prayers on time is definitely, you know, the right way of going about it. You know?
Exactly. Like and like, look, I would consider myself, and this is more like, you know, because there's a lot of like there's a lot of introverts that are kind of like shy to go to their boss and be like, yo, like, is it cool if I take 5 minutes to pray?
Not only that though, because some people are actually afraid to lose their jobs.
Yeah, see that's what I was getting into, right? So people are afraid to lose their jobs and stuff like that. But like that's the thing, like, because for me, like, part of the reason as to why I kind of like dabbled into the entrepreneurship side, right? Again, I'm not no guru or not, but I realized, like, you know, I felt like my deen was kind of like taking a backseat a little bit, right? Because I was just so focused on getting money and stuff like that. Like, I was working 80-hour weeks and like I was forgetting about the deen, right? But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even for people, like, I would consider us a little bit extroverted, right? And even for us, it's a little bit difficult to kind of like go up to a boss and be like, hey, yo, you know, Friday, I know I got a 9 to 5 shift, but like Jummah is on Fridays and I need like 30 minutes. Is it cool if I get it? I don't want meetings. I don't want to take no calls. Like, I gotta pray. This is my, you know what I'm saying? Because on Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah's not gonna ask you how much money did you
sales did you close?
You know what I'm saying? That's not what Allah's gonna ask you. Like, yo, like, did you pray? You know what I'm saying? And even like one of there's a whole surah on, like, just on the topic of Jummah, because I feel like that's kind of like the big one, right? Because you know, there are a lot of, you know, managers that are lenient in terms of allowing you to pray at the prescribed times or whatnot. But like Jummah is tough because you asking them to take a part of the day on a Friday, like you talk like 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Sometimes it can go up to an hour depending on, you know, the passion of the sheikh.
You know what I mean? So sheikhs are very passionate, right? So it's very hard. So like for people like us, I consider myself extroverted. Even I have that like difficulty going up to my managers and be like, yo, is it cool with you if I like just take this Friday off just so I can pray my Jummah, right? Because in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, like, am I gonna lose my job? Are they gonna look at me different? You know what I'm saying? Cause so it's really tough. So like that's why, like, you know, this like dabbling a little bit into entrepreneurship or on going into the entrepreneur side, right? Like when you see that you start to make a lot of money off of that, you have nobody to answer to, right? So it gives you the freedom to actually pray and do your salah and stuff like that and focus on your deen, right?
Which really brings me to my next point that I was actually thinking about is time freedom, as you just mentioned, right? Time freedom, time to not only, you know, positively act upon your deen, but also to spend time with your family. right?
Yeah.
You know, you have kids, you got families, you know, being away for like, you know, that many hours and being able to see your kids. Some people don't even see their kids during the week.
Yeah.
Some people get to see their kids, you know, on the weekends, you know, so it's really tough out there. So time freedom is definitely a big one.
Yeah,
really
for sure. And that's and for sure. Like me personally, like I haven't. I think I think everybody at this point knows this, but I have intentions of having. I want to have 6 kids, right? I want to have 3 boys.
16 kids. Yo, tell them the truth. Bro.
Six. Let's do the average. 8.
Okay.
No, but in reality, I want to have 6 kids, 3 boys. I already have the names and everything. You know what I'm saying?
SubhanAllah. Wait. Let me pause this right now. Yo, this brother, Yahoo, has the name already written down of his 6 future kids. Inshallah.
Well, it's on my phone, bro.
Subhanallah.
Zubayr. No.
Abdul Hakim.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Abdul Hakim. There was Jamila for the girls. Yeah.
What's the third? The Abdul Rahim.
Man, that's crazy.
That's a conversation for another time, right? But like me personally, I wanna have 6 kids, right? And I'm more of the traditional sense. Like I'm more traditional. I want to be the breadwinner. I want to be the one to go out in the workforce, work and stuff like that. And I want my wife to be to be the type to kind of nurturing, right? She stays at home, you know, take care of the kids, hold down the fort for the crib while I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and that's not to say that, you know, 9 to 5 doesn't allow for that, but I feel like now the time that we're in right now, I don't feel like, I could be wrong, but I don't know that a lot of 9 to 5 jobs that allows a man to just go onto the workforce and allow the wife to kind of like stay home and take care of the kids, right? Because nowadays, like, you need 2-parent households, right? You need the man and you need the woman to work, right? And I feel like that's a little bit detrimental to the kids and stuff like that. So for me, it's like, if you have a job, like, again, like entrepreneurs, it's not easy, right? But once it starts popping, once it starts busting, whatnot, then it becomes a little more easier, right, for you to be the breadwinner.
To be the breadwinner, 100%. I mean, it's, you know, sometimes it's not really conducive to the type of life you wanna lead in the future, you know. So I definitely get it, especially the climate in the West that we live in. That's also another one, right? So I mean, you know, school curriculums.
Making it very.
You know.
If you know, you know, right? Like.
So really, just many factors really that come into play when you're thinking about entrepreneurship, and you know, it really, subhanAllah, man, it makes you see things differently. You know, from a time freedom perspective, from, you know, being able to. I mean, a lot of people are into homeschooling now. Right? That's a big thing right now. You know, because you don't want the institution to, you know, to raise your kids. You know, you want to be able to do that. You know, so. I mean, and just going back to the, you know, the climate of the West, right? Like, you know, at the end of the day, right? Like, there's a lot, like, you want to be able to because like this goes back to kind of like time freedom. You want to be able, like, I like to be in control of my situation, right? I like to be in control. Like, I like to know what's going on. I like to know. I don't like being in a position in the dark, like you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty. I don't like that, right? I like to be in a position where you know I have complete control of what's going on, right? So like I want to be able to one day wake up and be like, hey, baby, like. I'm referring to my wife or whatever, my kids, but like, yo, today we're going to Dubai, we're living there. Babe. Hey, babe. But like, I wanna be the type to, like, I wanna have that freedom to be able to be like, hey man, today, like, we're gonna live in, you know, Malaysia. Hey, yo, I'm telling you, Malaysia's the spot, man. Malaysia's the spot. That's
you know
crazy.
what I mean?
We said it at the same time. Okay.
Bro, I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to have that freedom, and like where I'm at, like what, like the 9 to 5 doesn't give you the freedom. Because even if, for example, let's say they give you, let's say they get you're working at a big town firm, whatever, you the top salesman or whatever, you making, I don't know, for the sake of argument, let's say you're making $200K a month, right? You still don't have the freedom, because you still gotta clock in. You still, if you wanna wake up and be like, hey, you know, I wanna take my family to Cancun, like you can't do that. Like you have to go through a whole process. Really, and sometimes even when it comes to like my experiences, like when it comes to like breaks or whatnot, or not breaks, but like vacations, it goes by seniority.
Policy. There's like, you know, you're allowed to have 2 weeks off. And that's something that I never really understood. Trust me, wallahi. Like I remember when I got my first job at a big firm, and they told me I came in as a junior, and they're like, okay, so you're allowed to have 2 weeks of vacation per year. And remember, this is a kid who I had like 4 or 5 months off from school.
You know what I mean?
And you're going to come here and tell me I can have only 2 weeks out of the entire year? Like, really?
It's crazy.
And then they tell me, and I'm like, okay, so when do I get to have like more vacations? I thought like after a certain time you get to unlock the full, vacation you can go. But they're like, if after like 5 years or 10 years you have an extra week, and I was like,
after 5
this is dead.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, you know.
You know what I'm saying? And there's some jobs where it's like you gotta work an entire year before you can even get a vacation. Like, so if I'm coming in new, and I've already booked a vacation, or let's say you want to go to Umrah or you want to go to Hajj, like you gotta cancel that. You gotta dead that, bro. There's no Hajj. You gotta work. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Yeah.
So it's tough, right? So that goes back to what we were saying before in terms of it affecting your deen. You want to be in control of being able to pay your salah, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Not just pay your salah, just practice your deen the way you want to practice it. You know what I'm saying?
You want to practice it.
There's a lot of
the way it's supposed to be practiced.
The way it's supposed to be practiced, right? You know, and that's a big emphasis, right? For example, like if Salatul Dhuhr comes in at 1, right? You don't want, but you got your shift starts from 9 to 5, and then you have you're stuck on a call or whatever. Like you stuck in a meeting. Like you gotta what are you gonna answer to Allah? Oh, my bad, Allah. I was in this business meeting. My fault. Like
it's definitely a really tough spot, man. So, and I feel like nowadays also, this whole remote thing has really facilitated it for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, alhamdulillah, bro. There's a blessing in everything, bro. 100%. I know COVID was tough for a lot of people, but alhamdulillah, bro, like there was
definitely some positives from it.
For sure,
right?
100%.
Some people, like, obviously now they're talking about going back to office on a hybrid basis, a few days a week. But that really did, at least for people who did not have entrepreneurship on their minds.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it unlocked a whole new segment.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, wait a minute. I can earn while I'm home.
Yep.
Right? Then it really brings some ideas into your mind.
For
now
sure.
you're like, wait a minute. Why do I need to go back to the office?
For sure, 100%.
Like, John is asking me to go back to the office?
Yeah, no, facts.
And I was working from home fine.
Wallahi, bro,
wait a minute.
crazy.
Let me look for some other jobs. I've seen cases, wallahi, and I'm not even playing, where people held 2 jobs. And both of them were remote.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Think about it, right? Because one job was, a bit more flexible.
Yeah.
They didn't have that many meetings, because some jobs really... Like some jobs out there, especially so I come from a software development background, and if you finish a task, you finish the task, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
And then you only you have scrum meetings or whatever, and then you get to ask, like you get to answer after a certain, like you have, maybe say every Wednesday you have a team meeting where like you show whatever you did. If you finish before, you got an extra a whole week, right? So I've seen cases where people were earning, they had a side job. Online as well, like customer service or whatever, and they had both incomes. Like I remember a brother, I think was making like 5-6K a month off his software development job, and he had a customer service job on the side, giving him like 2-3K.
See, that's 8K
right?
a month.
That's 8-9K a month, right? And then that really gives you different ideas. Now the brother is completely, and this is a brother who was, like I want to move up the ranks in this company, right?
Yeah.
I want to get to become a product owner, director, and this brother went from that to, screw this.
Yeah.
I'm done. I want to do freelancing. So now he started his own little thing, and he takes gigs here and there, and he makes good money.
But see, the crazy thing is that like how he's thinking, like how he was, that's how I was in the beginning.
Right.
We had the conversation about this all the time on the Lolo.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I for me in the past, right? For me it was all about like, what can I do to make the most money? Obviously halal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because nowadays there's just so many ways.
Yeah, wallahi, a lot of ways to make money. You know what I'm saying? A lot of ways. But like for me, it's like I was like, I was thinking, all right, cool. I'm making $12 an hour here. How can I make 14 an hour? All right, so boom, now I'm at 14. Okay, how can I make 15 an hour? Okay, how can I make 20 an hour? How can I make 25? How can I make 30 an hour? How can I make, you know what I'm saying? So I was in my head, I was thinking corporate, like, what can I do to, get more and more money?
Definitely.
But like now, alhamdulillah, I got a blessed job. Alhamdulillah, I cannot complain. Yeah. Right? I'm like, alhamdulillah, like without tuning my own horn, I'm doing better than most. You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah. Like most of the brothers that we know, alhamdulillah, we're doing better than alhamdulillah. At the end of the day, we give thanks to Allah, right? But like,
it's
but like for me, it's like even though we make it, I'm in a great spot. There's something missing. I feel like, I need more. Like I need more. Like I need that freedom. I need to be able to kind of like do what I want to do when I want to do it. You feel me? So
Perfect. And I think that's a really good point. Obviously, alhamdulillah, and Islam definitely teaches you how to be content and and be not reliance on Allah. But also, this is a really important thing that I want to mention. Right? What's the line between being greedy and wanting more, or you know, or saying that, you know, because I feel like sometimes when you tell somebody, yo, I really want to become a millionaire, right? They really look at you like, yo, like, why don't you just, you know, become a sheikh or something, you know? And definitely, I feel like there's a stigma around money.
Yeah.
At least in the community, the Muslim community, right?
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to, you know, better your life and get more money. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, right? So I feel like that's a really interesting topic that I would love to hear more about.
For sure,
at least in the scene of like the lecture scene.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely something that I'd love to hear more about.
Yeah,
you know?
So definitely. I mean, look, let's be honest, bro. Like at the end of the day, bro, like Allah does not say that, you know, making money is haram, right?
Yeah.
As long as your rizq comes from halal means, there's nothing wrong with it, bro. Even in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, right after the verse where he says, I'm paraphrasing here, but right after the verse he says, like, when the Salatul Jumu'ah comes in, you know, leave trade and go. And right after the verse after that, he says, once you completed your Jummah, seek from Allah's bounty.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So there's nothing wrong with making money. So like this stigma that you talk about, for sure, like there is a stigma around money. Like people talk about like, oh, you just got to be humble and don't drive the Lamborghini Urus, don't buy the Mercedes AMGs, buy the Toyota. But bro, if I made it, I'm pulling up in a Lambo.
Thank you.
I'm pulling up in a Lambo. Jummah, bro, stop playing with me, man.
Discussion between him where he likes the Urus, I like the G-Wagon, right?
Bro, yo, the G-Wagon is ugly, bro.
What do you mean it's ugly? Well, it's a nice
car. It's a lunchbox, bro. Stop playing with me,
the Urus looks like a Hot Wheels car. What do you mean?
I don't even want to hear you right now.
But anyways, honestly, also seeing other people making it into the industry and making, you know, being able to live financially free, especially people in our age. I feel like nowadays we live in a completely different time where you can definitely make money online. You know, we see people do it. We know it's possible. We've done it, alhamdulillah. And like it just coming from that background where you're like, okay, yo, why am I working 9 to 5 when there's a kid online selling, you know, shoes, right, or selling a course and making
$3,000 a head. Like, you know? he's making, like, people are buying his course. And, like, if he gets 5 people, that's 15 bands. You feel me? So, that's like, and you see that, and you say that. But see, then, like, going back to what you're saying, being content. Right, being content. Like, what we don't want to do is we don't want to mess up a good situation that you have right now because you see the shiny new toy. Right. You don't want to do that. Right. You always have to be, syndrome. You know what I mean? Exactly. You want to make sure that, you know, you thank Allah for what you have, but I don't think there's anything wrong with trying, right? Definitely. Like there's nothing wrong with taking risk, right? If you want to be the entrepreneur game, it's all about risk, right? But I feel like you got to be calculating in the way you go about, you know, the risk and stuff like that, right? 100%. So it's but alhamdulillah, bro. There's a lot.
Listen, like this podcast, man, we're gonna talk about everything.
Everything,
you know?
Bro.
So there's many different stuff that we're gonna talk about, whether it comes to school, when it comes to mindset, business etiquettes, when it comes to Islam,
all that.
You know, the pros are working, the cons are working, 9 to 5. You know, so definitely a lot more to talk about, inshallah.
So
you know.
So this podcast, right, this whole entire channel is gonna be catered to a lot of things. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff, right? We're gonna talk about, you know, business etiquette. We're gonna talk about like the schooling system. We're gonna talk about like mental health. You know, that's a big topic.
That's a really big one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we're gonna talk about. Yeah. Again, like I mentioned earlier, right? We're gonna talk a little bit about things that are kind of like taboo in the community, right? We want to kind of like touch base upon it. You know, open up the discussion, right? But what we're gonna need you guys to do though is we're gonna need you to like, comment, and subscribe.
It's
fard. It's a part of your Islamic obligation, bro. In the you guys gotta support your brothers in Islam. You feel me? But anyways, to finish off this video, we're gonna have my boy Muhammad, you know, finish off with a nice little dua.
All right, Bismillah. اللهم اكفني بحلالك عن حرامك واغنني بفضلك عمن سواك. Oh Allah, provide me with lawful halal livelihood, adequate to my needs, instead of the unlawful, and make me suffice with your graces, needing nothing from anyone else.
Ameen thumma ameen.
And on that note,
stay risky, my friends.
Stay what? Stay risky.
I don't know why.
That's crazy. Nah, get that money.
Get that money, bro. Get that money. Alhamdulillah. May Allah make all of us rich. May Allah make us rich in iman, rich in wealth,
what?
rich in wealth,
what?
rich in wealth,
what?
and rich in iman.